In today's video, I want to talk about DeepSeek. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it is. We will explore if it's really worth the hype, and more importantly, determine if it really only cost $6 million. We will also check whether it was built with less advanced components, and finally, we will look into the claims that Chinese government is trying to steal your data. So let's get started. DeepSeek is a Chinese company specializing in the development of large language models. It's a common misconception that all AI systems are identical, but they are definitely not. We will explore that in a future video, so stay tuned. That is why we often use benchmarks that are also meaningful and relatable to humans, such as massive multitask language understanding, grade school math, and code generation to evaluate their performance. To understand DeepSeek's true performance, let's compare it with a well-known rival, OpenAI's ChatGPT. On the screen, you're seeing a comparison between various OpenAI and DeepSeek models on important benchmarks. I would like you to focus on R1 for DeepSeek and O1 for OpenAI, as they are the strongest models each company has at the moment. As you can see, DeepSeek's R1 model is as strong as OpenAI's O1 model. Even outperforms OpenAI's O1 model in some math and software engineering tasks. So, in terms of DeepSeek having a strong AI system, I would say that hype is justified. Also, you may have noticed that we have multiple models. For OpenAI, we have O1 and there's a new one called O3. Similarly, for DeepSeek, there's R1 and V3, and I know it's confusing for some of you. So let me explain why. For both companies, models are not entirely new creations, but are built upon the foundations of earlier versions. They incorporate improvements and optimization, often reusing components or architectures that have proven effective, while introducing new features or modifications to enhance performance. So, in other words, DeepSeek's R1 model is connected to V3, and same goes for OpenAI as well. But their architecture is not entirely same on utilizing old models. OpenAI's models, such as GPT-3 and GPT-4, utilize a dense transformer architecture, where all the parameters are active during computation. This means that the entire module is engaged for each input, combining the capabilities of all components to generate responses. But DeepSeek uses a mixture of expert architecture, which involves multiple specialized submodules or experts, each handling different aspects of the data processing. In this design, only a subset of experts is activated for a given input, allowing the model to utilize specific components of previous models as needed. This selective activation reduces the computational cost and increases efficiency by engaging only the relevant parts of the model during processing. So, now you might be thinking, if DeepSeek is using a relatively more efficient model, then is the cost claim of $6 million actually accurate? Well, no, it's not. First of all, people are stupid. It literally says in the document for the DeepSeek R1 model that the $6 million is the cost of a single training run, not the entire development process. For this type of LLM models to improve, multiple training runs are required, so the actual cost is more likely around $1.6 billion. Yes, billion dollars. But it is still safe to say that even with a price tag of $1.6 billion, DeepSeek's R1 model would be way cheaper than OpenAI's models. And don't forget, people are saying that they have also done it using less advanced components. By the way, when we say components for this type of large language models, or any model in general, we mean graphic processing units. In other words, CPUs. And don't worry about them too much, just think of them as our computation power. Let's get back to the claim that DeepSeek is using outdated CPUs. Well, this claim arises due to the US export restrictions. So, companies like OpenAI use NVIDIA's H100 CPU, the most powerful AI training CPU out there. But, due to US export restrictions, Chinese companies like DeepSeek have to use NVIDIA's A800, which is basically a downgraded version designed to comply with US trade policies. So, saying that DeepSeek used less advanced technologies is correct then? Well, yes and no. First thing first, A800s are still highly capable for AI training. Also, Chinese firms have scaled up computation power by using thousands of A800 CPUs, effectively achieving near H100 performance. And there is one last thing on this. I don't want to name any countries, but most probably Chinese companies can still get the banned H100s through some other countries. So, saying that it's cheaper sounds reasonable, but saying that they have used ancient technology is not correct at all. Before concluding, let's look at the claim that Chinese government might be using DeepSeek to steal people's data. Well, as we discussed, DeepSeek is a Chinese company and must comply with China's regulations, which include sharing company data with government upon request. Therefore, it's plausible that the Chinese government could access your data. However, is it really worse than the US government accessing your data? If you're really concerned about data privacy, you can download DeepSeek's R1 model locally and run it using your own hardware. This way, you can protect your data more effectively than you would if you were using OpenAI, because you don't have the option to download any of OpenAI's models locally. You have to use them through an online platform always. In conclusion, although the true cost of DeepSeek is higher than what the media makes it out to be, it is still far less than what OpenAI had to spend. Also, while OpenAI may have developed a better LLM before DeepSeek, we should still appreciate the fact that what DeepSeek is doing is basically revolutionary. OpenAI used to be a non-profit company, but those days are long gone. So having a company like DeepSeek step in, fill that gap, and create open source LLMs is definitely something developers should be grateful for. But don't get too attached to DeepSeek either. Always ask yourself, if they had the advantage of having the better model first, would they have made it public? Thank you guys for watching. I know that you forgot to like and subscribe, but I'll see you in another video.